Whoa, this is John Bollinger with Premier Guitar. Today we're taking a look at the 64 Custom Handwired Deluxe Reverb from Fender. So what they're doing here is something very cool. Everybody loves these old deluxes, so they figured, hey, why not just retool and make them like we did back then, only maybe making a few improvements. So I'll tell you all about it after I tell you about how I'm recording it. I'm just plugging this is my 55 Stratocaster. It's pretty much stock, as you can tell by those buzzy pickups. It's basically stock, running it right into this bad boy just with the clots cable directly in. I came in on the bright channel and I had the bass kicked up quite a bit and the treble about on 5, volume on about just between 3 and 4. We're going to switch to the other channel later on, normal channel. We're miking with a Royer R121 mic, and that's about probably 8 inches off the cab, just to give it a little more roominess. We're running that into an Apogee Quartet and into Pro Tools. So Strat straight in, blowing and going. So let me tell you about what they've done with this. First thing that I really love, they used an honest-to-God pine cabinet, which makes it way lighter. And believe me, that is, when I'm looking at the pluses and minuses in an amp, the weight is a big deal. So I love that. Also, they say that it's, that it sounds better, the pine cabinet. I love the way they look. I love those old, those videos of like the Dead where they had all those old pine cabs and they would take the Tolex off and refinish them in, in just a clear varnish. Anyway, that I love. I don't know if it's a huge sonic deal, but I love that. Here are the other details. The 64 Custom Deluxe is completely hand-wired on an eyelet circuit board, and it features an original spec blackface preamp voicing on the bright channel, while the normal channel features a popular aftermarket mod in which the bright capacitors have been removed to warm up the sound for bright voice instruments. Another cool change is that the tube-driven spring reverb and tremolo are now available on both channels. Here's an improvement over the original one. The old Deluxes, if you're in this channel over here, you did not get tremolo and verb, but here you do. Observe. And this, just dig how lush this vibrato is. When you have that on, it doesn't really matter what you play. It just sounds great. Verb, equally lush. I've got it on 4 coming in. If we goose that way up there, again, you put enough verb on something, it doesn't matter what you play. It just sounds pretty. So love those two. I love the old school controller that comes with it. Although unlike the old ones, this gives you just one stereo 1/4 inch, which I think is probably going to wear a little bit better. So that's an improvement over the original one. Let's see what else. What other features do we have? Vintage blue tone capacitors for you full-on vintage nuts. 4 12AX7s and 2 12AT7 preamp tubes. A GZ34 rectifier and a matched pair of 6V6s. There's a 12-inch Jensen C12Q speaker that I think is really kind of warm and clean. It's a good sounding speaker. So that's the basics. Let me just play a little bit and you can hear what it sounds like. Enough of my talking. Now there's something kind of magic about plugging a Fender guitar right into a Fender amp. They just really work. And you know, when I came in, I was trying to do that Stevie Ray Vaughan song because Stevie is just that master of getting every possible tone combination. And this amp does all of them really well. For instance, let me just get a little bit of verb there. You know, when you go to that, that neck is really lush. But switch to that bridge and you get all that bite. It just sounds great. Now, the interesting thing about this amp, it's a 20-watt amp, but not a super loud amp. But what I love about Fender is they basically make amps for any sort of occasion. You know, in your bedroom, you got like a little Bronco or a Champ. Want something a little bit louder, go with the Blues Junior or the Princeton. A little louder than that, the Deluxe, that's great. Next you got the Tremolux, then you've got the Vibro-Verb and the Supers, then the Twins if you really want to get loud, and then they had, you know, the Tone Masters and stuff like that for the really big loud stuff. But you can kind of tailor that amp for the size of the gig. This amp, you know, I actually took it to a club the other night, which granted it's not my amp, perhaps I shouldn't have, but I figured what the hell, I'm reviewing it, why not? And it sounded great, but it had trouble keeping up with a really loud drummer. So, but again, when you're miking and things go through monitors and through the front of the house, it's no problem. But it sounded killer. The interesting thing about it, once you get above 5, it doesn't get a whole lot louder, it just kind of gets a little dirtier. Now right here, this is where I love it, because you've got almost starting to get a little bit of dirt. You know, you just feel it like right on the edge, just feels like a big, perfect, clean signal. But then we'll add a little bit more, bring it up there, go to about, say about almost 8. It's kind of like that Rolling Stones dirt. And then you bring this bad boy all the way up. And then where you really hear it is when you plug in some humbuckers, which I happen to have a Les Paul. Let's try that. Okay, so now we're in humbucker land, playing my Les Paul. And right now I'm on just about 4. And I got the bass up a bit and treble just right under 5. So here we go. So good, nice rock and roll tone, but let's go ahead and goose up that volume to about 6. And we're going to put our treble up a little bit and our bass up a little bit. sheesh. So I mean, that is a good old school rock and roll, oh my God, my amp is blowing up kind of tone. Very cool. Now I guess the final test is, let's see how it takes pedals. I'm gonna plug in my pedal board just so you can kind of see what a little bit of overdrive or compression or delay does to it. So let me take it on down to a more reasonable level, plug in the pedal board. I've got a DD5 and then a red dirt overdrive and a compressor. Let's just show you how it takes pedals. So here's a little delay. Nice, huh? Then how about a little bit of overdrive? Man, a really nice platform. So those are the basics on the 64 Custom Deluxe. To read the full written review, go to premierguitar.com. While you're online, make sure you like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Instagram, Twitter, all that jazz. Poke around the PG site, and we'll keep you up to date on all the cool new gear that's out there. This is John Bollinger. Till next time.
Don't forget to sign up for PG Perks, your all-access pass to exclusive gear giveaways and discounts on premierguitar.com.